And this is the only problem I face with all the scientists, all the intellectuals, all other people. While all other gurus, what they do, they say that we will try to help you this thing, but nobody says that I am the God in the real sense. Some of people say, but they are proved to be not to be God. So to accept the situation, without my photograph you cannot cleanse yourself. Without my photograph you cannot get vibrations. Without my photograph you should not give realization. So everywhere the photograph has to be used, my name has to be there, my face has to be there. And this is such a compulsion, I don't know. It's very embarrassing, but it is so. You see, all other incarnations never wanted to face any embarrassment. It's only my luck. But I have to tell you sometimes, if somebody... Now please sit properly. You don't sit before me like... Something, oh now please sit properly. You don't sit before me like this, not proper. Or not to take advantage. Like I have to tell them. It's very embarrassing to tell somebody that you better respect me. One has to do it. You can't help it. So now I'm going back to cooking, and I hope you get it in time.
That was delicious, this meal, you know.
Jai Shri Mataji.
Mataji.
Jai Shri Mataji, Bruno Descaves and Misau. Thank you so much for joining us from Brazil this evening. It's very kind of you to take time out, and the little excerpt that we saw of Shri Mataji in Pratishthan on the 18th of December 1988. Please tell us about it, Bruno and Misau. You were there.
Yes, I was there also.
Go on, please tell us.
That video I never saw. It's amazing that you brought up this video, because it brings the timelessness of Sahaja Yoga, you know, that Shri Mataji, when we meet her, she's forever with us, you know. She's timeless. She's Kalatit, Shri Mataji, you know. And then this meal that we ate, that she prepared for us, I remember the taste of it. What was one of the most delicious meal ever I had in my life. It was so much love in it, you know. It's like amrut, pure amrut. And I could not imagine I could see the video, but the taste is with me. I don't know. Do you remember this film, Misao?
For me, it's more like Shri Mataji was showing the Pratishthan. Yeah.
What do you remember of that? Tell us, please.
For me, I remember more like she was showing the garden, or she was showing the house, inside the house, and then always laughing, and then be comfortable, and then we are so happy to be around there. For me, it was really first time, so was really new Sahaja Yogis
Yes.
and different.
Yes. So,
Yeah,
Misau,
it's
you got your realization in June of that year, wasn't it? 1988. And Bruno, you got your realization in Nepal in 1987, just the preceding year, isn't it? Can you please tell us where were you? What were you doing? Because now you are a very established, renowned artists, both of you. You are a musician, violinist, puppeteer, Bruno, and an artist. Misao, you're very good at your sketching and art. So it's really a pleasure to have, and thank you for taking the time out today. Please tell us how was your seeking journey? When did you get your self-realization? And what was your first meeting with Shri Mataji like, please?
yes, I was born in São Paulo, and then we moved to Rio, and I had, since I was small, I was seeking really, I was, deep seeker. I was looking for gods, and since very small age, and I had this search, and then I went to Rio, and I was living in Rio, and I could see that things were not right. The Catholic, my mother was, my grandmother was from Catholic Church, and I stopped going to church too, because I could not stand, the falsity, the false, and I could just, my mother was a psychologist, and then she could cure people with psychology and stuff, but so I had lots of, she'll go one thing, she'll go other thing, Jung and all these people, and then you had this body awareness thing, and she'll bring these people that were sick, into a house, and anyway, so when I decide to go, then I did University of Physics, because I wanted to search. I said, oh, if God created the world, I want to study the world. And one thing that I like to study is mathematics and physics, because these are the universal laws. In physics, if the apple is falling, the apple is falling. Nobody's going to say, oh no, the apple is not falling. It falls. You have to believe in it. If you go into another area like sociology or grammar even, they say, oh no, it's written like this, it's written like that. If you have, but in physics, no. In mathematics, no. Things are right. So I studied that, with also because Einstein was kind of my guru, in a way, because I loved the way he behaved, and he understood the physics, the world. So I studied physics, and when I graduated from physics in Rio de Janeiro, I used to live close to a marine where they had yachts going and coming. And I said, now I have to search the world, because I didn't find yet nobody that I could follow, like a master. I was sure I studied, I read Tao Te Ching, and I read different things. I studied Japanese culture, and I was very close to many things, Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, these authors, Hermann Hesse, and we studied, and then I did psychology too, to try to see, but nothing happened. And I studied dance a little bit, and the body was important for me, and swimming. I used to like swimming very much. And then when I finished the university, I said, I'm going to go and search for it. So how things happen? I didn't have much money. I sold everything I had, and I went to the marine, and there was a boat there, a yacht, with a sign, need crew. And I said, okay, can I join? It was going to Europe, the boat. Said, okay, I want to join. I want to go with Europe. So I started my journey. That's a very long journey, but I'm going to make it short. So I went in that journey, and I had an experience. In that journey, I had an experience in the middle of the sea that it was so peaceful. And at the same time, we were connected with the world in a very peaceful manner, because there was no people, only the 5 people in the boat. Was a small, very small sailing boat, a yacht with wind. We would move with wind. So we had the contact of the Vayu, and I had always these names, Mother Nature, the fire, the God fire, since small, I used to worship this. They were my way of worshiping the gods, because nature was connected with gods, like physics. And so we had this wind, the big storms, and in the sea, with big waves, and the small boat would go the wave and go down. And then after we had no wind, and then we'll stop, there was only the sea, and then glass, the sea beautiful, and you had this peaceful, all this, because I tried meditation also, a little bit in my way. And then we went through, and I make it short because we don't have more time. But then I arrived in Europe, and I started traveling. I start working here and there, and then I went all the way to England in '83. I left in '83 actually, and I worked in Paris, and I went to England. I played in the streets, in the underground in Europe. And at that time was interesting. Shri Mataji was there in '83. She was living in England, but I didn't meet her there because it wasn't the right moment. But I was there, close to her. I used to go all the way. I used to live in Leytonstone, and we go and in London. But no, I didn't see. And then I went to Norway, in the north of Norway, to see the Northern Lights. And because my love for the creations of the world, of Shri Mataji's creations, was intense. I wanted to know all the little places, but I wanted to know slowly, one by one, not airplane, go here, bah, bah. So I went, then, okay, it's not in Europe. So we go to Africa. I went to Africa. I crossed the desert of Sahara, and then I had another very interesting experience with the silence of the Sahara, the silence of being in the desert, nobody there. I could see the difference between a town where many people are there, this energy of people, and when we had these places like a desert without anybody. Anyway, across the Sahara, I went to live in Togo, and then and then I went across the Congo forest, walking 400 kilometers, walking across the forest. Is there in the forest? No, it was in the forest. I could hear the nice sounds from the percussion, but there was no there. And then I crossed the forest. And then I went to India. Must be in India. Everybody thinks, okay, in India, it must be there. Oh, sure, it's a place of gurus and stuff. Only false gurus. Only false. And I said, I lived in Varanasi. I went direct to Varanasi. I didn't go direct to Varanasi. I went to Trivandrum first. I went to the south of India. Then, no, then I have to go to Varanasi. It was very interesting the day I arrived in Varanasi, because it was in the morning. The train, arrived in the morning, and I left my stuff in a small, cheap guest house, and I went direct to the river, to the Ganges. And then I had another very important experience, because I went to pray my respects in my way. I say, oh, Ganga, and I touched her, and it wasn't touching, it was a water that was going through my fingers without making me wet. It was like cuddling me, I said, wow, that's nice. And then I found a place to stay in Varanasi, in Asigat, and I stayed 4 months there, studying a little bit of Indian music and Indian Hindi, swimming every day in the river. Every day I would go to the river. And then when I said no, and somebody told me, oh, you can go to Bodh Gaya. They'll have a workshop of Vipassana in Bodh Gaya. Bodh Gaya is where the Buddha had realization. So I went, I left. Yeah, I used to make furniture with the wood that I buy wood and make furniture. So at the night before leaving Varanasi, I burned all my furniture. I made a nice fire. So that's the fire element. And then I left next day to Bodh Gaya. In Bodh Gaya, there was this tree that they say that Buddha had a realization. And I sat down under the tree. I said, wow, it feels so fresh, so nice. And I could feel that something was very nice there. And then at the same time, the Dalai Lama came to give a speech, and they had these funny people around him. And wow, Dalai Lama, they say that is a good guy, good person. I went there, he came in a Jeep like that. And I said, no, I left. After 10 minutes of the meeting, I left. I said, no, that's not the guy. That's not the person I'm looking for. I didn't like the situation. And then I went to my Vipassana thing. The Vipassana, you don't speak for 1 week. It's like only meditation, 1 hour meditation, walking, 1 hour sitting, 1 hour talking, eating, and no speaking. I said, okay, I did that for 2 weeks. I did that. And I left and I said, okay, I have to continue my trip. And I went and I got the train to Delhi, to Kathmandu. I arrived in Kathmandu. I stayed in a small, cheap, didn't have much money. And then I was playing in the restaurants to make some money. And then one night, I went to these restaurants. And then there was a lady there. And then she said, I asked, can I play here? And then I passed the hat. And then she said, no, tomorrow you come to my office. We're going to talk. I said, okay. And then I left. I said, oh, she wants to talk about when I can play or something. So I left. I went home. And then next day I went there and there was some stairs and climbed the stairs and I knocked the door. And she opened the door with the picture of Shri Mataji like this, the Adi Shakti. And she said, she's the Adi Shakti. First thing she said when she opened the door, she's the Adi Shakti. Can you feel the vibrations? And I looked at the picture and I felt the vibration. I said, yes, I can feel the vibration. And that was a so incredible moment. I said, finally, I found her. And then she told me, oh, we do meditation. She told me, it doesn't matter. Then next day I went to her house and things. But when I left this little office, I was like flying. The colors of everything were shiny, like really shiny. And then I was like flying. I went back to my hotel, my guest house, floating like, I found her. Really great. That's how it is. Okay. Little long.
That's really interesting because today is actually Buddha Purnima, and you actually visited and experienced the Bodhi, the tree of enlightenment. So that's really very nice. And how you got your realization after, um, you know, traveling around so many countries and continents. Um, so before you share with us, so obviously you finished your graduation in physics, and then what we in England call a gap year, you were looking for the truth. Before you share your first meeting with Shri Mataji, you got your self-realization. Shall we hear from Misao? Where were you? And what was the journey of seeking for you when you got your realization? Because it was in Sydney, in Australia, was it?
Yes, but you have to tell her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please share. Both
yeah,
of
you
you
can.
share.
Yeah.
The thing is that the Bruno's trouble has to be continued, otherwise I won't be appears.
Oh,
Okay, so I
please
continue my
continue.
travel a little bit.
Okay, I will keep quiet. Please continue.
So after Nepal, I crossed the Himalayas. Okay, because I had the wish to go to Japan. I knew I had to go to Japan. I don't know. Since small, I wanted to go to Japan. You know, I used to eat Japanese food and stuff. I have to go to Japan. So, but to go to Japan, it had to go slowly, you know. It took me 3 years to go to Nepal, okay? 3 years from Brazil to there, 3 years. And then I left, I crossed the Himalayas, and then I got a boat, I got a train. I went to Shanghai, and I knew that there was a boat from Shanghai to Osaka in Japan. But they didn't give me the visa to go to Japan. So I could not go to Japan from Shanghai. I had to go to Hong Kong. And then from Hong Kong, I got a little airplane that went to Tokyo. So when I went to Tokyo, they gave me which are the guest house I can stay here in the office, in the airport. They give a paper. And that there was a paper, and that there was one guest house called Ijinkan. And it went like that, soon. I called there and I said, oh, there is a place to stay? Yes, there is. And then that guest house was where she was working she was the daughter of the owner of the guest house. So I went there and I could see her shyness. She was very beautiful. And then she told me the place where I can stay, very professional, you know, super professional. And then we start.
No, the marionette.
And then I stayed there. I start playing the streets in Tokyo, and I decided to make a marionettes. And when I made these marionettes, she said, "Oh, I can make the clothes for it." And then she made the clothes, and we start making the first marionette we made together. And then afterwards, I start playing, and then 3 months later, I had to go to Hong Kong again to renew my visa. And when I went to Hong Kong, yeah, we made other puppets. We made 2 puppets. We can show later. But I went to Hong Kong, and then in Hong Kong, I said, wow, that lady that I met in Japan. I asked Shri Mataji, because at beginning of Sahaja Yoga, you don't feel so much vibration. You don't have these instruments so much. But at that moment, I said, shall I marry Misau? And there was so much vibrations. I could feel it so cool. So I bought a dress and I bought a gift, and I went back to Japan and I asked her, would you marry me? But one condition. And I said, look, she is my guru, she's my master. Would you accept her? And then Misao said, then you can see now.
Yeah, now and then And then she showed, he was always had a big, small photo in his room. And then I said, when he told me that, I look at the photo, and then her face, her eyes, it was like looking at me, moving. And then Shri Mataji's photos, Shri Mataji's eyes are moving to me, like, and then it's really shining. And then, wow, such a beautiful lady that it would be great that it become our mother, holy mother. So I said, it's really nice. And then that's how I not worship, but she become my mother, like our mother. See? And then when I was small, that my father always told me that whatever you have, God is always there. So you have to be really look after everything. So if it's stable, it's also God is sitting. So you have to be really looking after. Surely that Shintoism is going on in Japan, but what is really more that my feeling was God is everywhere. So I believe, Shri Mataji is not really God, but like a great mother, So I really felt it that I was really pleased that I have another mother that's really beautiful and great mother. That's my journey.
So very
Yeah, and then
nice.
after
So
we married in the Shinto with
which year is
kimono,
this? When is this? When?
88,
Mm.
88.
88. So
1988.
he came to Japan was 87.
Yes.
And we married is 88, no?
Yeah, I stayed like actually we're supposed to marry before, but my mother and my brother
Yeah.
could not come.
After
So they came only in 88, in February 88. So we married in 88, in February 88. That was 87 when we met. And I asked her.
After 3 months.
And then after I went to her father, he said, yes, so we married. And then they prepared a very big first ceremony with a Japanese ceremony,
The
So
famous tea ceremony.
yeah, it was a marriage ceremony, but with the kimonos and everything. So we married in 88. And after marriage, we decided to continue, because I told Misao, now we have to continue my trip around the world in 7 years. Because also I wanted to go around the world. And then now she's coming with me. So we left Japan in 88. Yeah.
So just
And we went
one
to Australia.
question. For those viewers who don't know, marionette is the puppets, right? Some puppets you were making.
Just show.
Yeah, please. And also, from physics to puppetry, what was there an inspiration? Is there something? How did that happen? Because music was the next thing you were doing besides sailing, wasn't it? How did the puppet idea come through?
Usually I was just playing in the streets with violin when I start traveling. Violin was my way of making money, I was playing here and there and in restaurants and stuff. So these are the puppets
Wow.
that we made together. She made this clothes, really beautiful clothes like this. And that was Momotaro. That was the first puppet.
Beautiful.
And then this puppet also changed the head, also can become another one like this.
And then this one.
And then we made the couple, and then we made her Kaguya Hime.
Yes.
And that was I was making shows with these two puppets in Japan. This one will play the violin, and I will play the violin together. So that question you said is like that. You see, these are our first children.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And the details, amazing. What a teamwork. So sweet. Absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous.
Really like a princess, no?
Totally. Yes. Very well done.
inspired by Shri Mataji's, when I carved this. Since
You-
small, my family was a very artistic family. We used to consider always making art and stuff. Where I'm coming from this kind of family. So when to join physics with marionettes, I could make things by hand. And if there was an opportunity, because I was doing shows, and then better the show is, more money I will make. More successful I was. So that's what led me to start making marionettes. And it's
Fabulous. Go on.
so when we left, I said, I'm not going to take these puppets. I left them in Japan. I said, no, I'm going to play just violin. So we went we said, now we have to go to Sydney,
Australia.
in Australia, because they are supposed to have a Maha Ganesh Puja in Uluru in that year, 88. But they canceled because there was some problems there with the leadership, Anyway, we went there anyway. And when we lived in ashrams there. And then I start playing in circular key. And then we made another puppet. It's called Paparotti. And then I start making another thing, with a machine and things. But that's the thing. And then we went to Australia. And then after Australia, we said, now we have to go to America. So we went to Los Angeles, and we crossed all the way to New York, because we knew that Gregoire used to live in New York. And I wanted to meet Gregoire. And I got his book. And then I was reading the book. I read all the book before meeting Gregoire. When I met Gregoire.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. So
then
where
Gregoire
was
said, I said, oh, don't you want to meet Shri Mataji? He asked me. And then I said, no, I don't need to meet Shri Mataji. Shri Mataji is here, I told him. But they said, no, you have to meet Shri Mataji. You have to meet Shri Mataji. He was incisive,
Yeah.
So we went to India from there. And that was the tour that tour 88. That's when we arrived in India. We met Shri Mataji.
Ah.
And that's another story, because Shri Mataji, it's like she knew us. Shri Mataji was talking I want to ask Shri Mataji if she could marry us. And then she said, she was a Sir CP, and she said, oh, sir, you know that there is a Japanese girl in the tour? And then I said, I asked Shri Mataji, would you marry us? He said, sure. She knew everything, Sure, she knew everything. And then she married us there. It was incredible, because she gave us chocolates and
Big chocolate like this.
Wow, tell us about it, because this was also your first meeting, your personal meeting with Shri Mataji, isn't it? And here's Shri Mataji in Pratishthan in Pune, showering you with gifts. Tell us about it. What was the atmosphere, and how did it feel? Please describe for us.
Yours.
Was amazing, because there was this. The first time I met Shri Mataji, I didn't speak with her. In Pakistan, I spoke with her. We spoke. But the first time, she was in a bullet car. We arrived in the tour, and then there was a procession with Shri Mataji sitting in the bullet car. And I said, it came like amazing, because was amazing. It was like you're going to a bubble, of vibrations. You go into a bubble, and then I lost my sense. I lost my dimension of being myself. It's like her love, her immense love, brings us into a bubble of love, of beauty, of loveliness, of joy, of Ananda. It's like this beauty of her. And then I grabbed the cart, the bullet cart, and then I just stayed there. It was amazing. It was incredible. And then next day, or a few days later, we met Shri Mataji in Pakistan. She was showing us her house. And then I was wearing a dhoti. You know, dhoti, this big material that you put around your. And then she came to me and said that. Then she said that it's very fresh, isn't it? You're wearing. Do you like it? She said, because she wanted us to wear Indian clothes when we arrived there. You know, we start using, you know, all the foreigners that will leave her jeans and our Western clothes, and we just dress like Indians, you know. And that's and it's amazing, and it's always laughing, always so much joy, you know, going when Shri Mataji was together. We were always laughing. Apart from the fact that when we went to get the clothes in that room, that house, Shri Mataji, there was a room there, and when I passed through the room, there was some wind coming out from the door. I said, wow, strange. And then I heard Shri Mataji shouting, how can you do that? Something like the big shout, you know, big anger, like, not anger, but she was giving a big papach, like, to some leaders there. And then I left with the clothes, but so she has the other side also, you know, that gives the righteousness, you know, and that you have to understand the limits. Sometimes that's the thing, you know, we are close to Shri Mataji. Sometimes we don't understand how she's, but Misao, no. Misao, she always understands
What?
the protocol to Shri Mataji. Just speak a little bit, Misao.
No, she's asking for that. No,
Yeah.
my first time to meet Shri Mataji was when the place that was going to have ceremony, the bread. And then just when I said, oh, I want to see Shri Mataji, and then the car passed, and Shri Mataji was just there, and then she stopped the car just really in front, and then we saw that Shri Mataji was coming out from the car, and then everybody was so happy, and we are so happy to receive Shri Mataji. That was my first experience to meet Shri Mataji first time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Tell us more. Were there many yogis around? What was the scene like? And um, having just not long, I mean, barely some student. How old were you at that point of time? Because we today, like in 2026, on 1st of May, International Labor Day here. So you were very young. Enthusiastic seekers who had got their self-realization and met the Adi Shakti. And what joy! What was it like? Were there a lot of yogis? And I mean, Shri Mataji was cooking the food as you said, and it was so divine. And as you say, Misao, being from Japan, would know the protocol much more. There, it's kind of in the East and Far East, there is this respect that is automatically there, and it's a different way of life, isn't it? So how did you both find it, and were there any interesting moments, outstanding moments for you that you'd like to share with us from that time, please?
At that time, it was really, the tour was like very different like now. We didn't have a really comfort. And then as I came from Japan, I was so happy that now you have to change the clothes. Shri Mataji prepared all the Punjabi and then cotton things to sit down, and then the sari and cotton sari. And then now we won't here, we won't use spoons. We have to use leaves. Don't have cups. We don't have dishes or anything. We have to use the leaves, everything. They're like a natural. And now I was so happy. And then the tent, it's not like this, the tent that they made. And we have to just, they put the logs on top of the sand or soil. So it's really that you feel the mothers, and then everybody's staying. There's many small hut, not like now, but many hut. And then we're here, and then you are here, and then the toilet, even though that they made it, and then the shower room that it's outside, and you can see the sky, and then the water. I really enjoyed it. I don't mind that cold water in the cold time. I was so happy, but you get only one bucket. And I tried to get two because if it's possible, I have a long hair and thing. But anyway, it was really nice. And then Indians was so nice, and like it's really totally different, not like everything you have, but we really lived in the nature, inside the nature, and then really didn't disturb that that we don't have anything. We just be in the nature with mother and with nice people to spend and meditate. And I was really, really pleased that the situation that it happened, and then yeah, something like
So
that.
what happens
Shimataji was
next?
so much connected with the nature,
Yes.
and she was giving us always some gifts. We are, I mean, so young. She was 24 years old, Misao was,
Yes.
and I was on 28, We were very young. And then always giving gifts, she'll give a blanket, she'll give some little bells, and she'll give us this delicious, and you're so simple, and she was bringing us to the real. Oops.
Tell us about this photo,
Uh,
please.
Yeah, this photo, and then afterwards she came to Brazil, and then we received Shri Mataji in
Oh,
Brazil.
this is in Brazil. Okay, please tell us what happened. So you were on the India tour, and then what happens next from there? Because like right now, it's so convenient for us, isn't it, that we can be in totally different continents and we can talk to each other. But back then there were, the communications between countries weren't as smooth and easy as they are today. So how would you keep in touch with Sahaj News? Being in Brazil or elsewhere. What happens next? Please tell us.
In India, Duilo asked Shri Mataji, please come to Brazil. And then she said, definitely I will go to Brazil next year. So that was 89, in I think June 89 when she came to Brazil. And that was special, for us, because we received her in our house, and then we had the very close contact to Shri Mataji. And that's the thing about, we used to laugh all the time, and it's so happy, so joyful, everything. I will get cramps on my cheek, when with Shri Mataji, because we'll laugh from the morning till the night, all the time. It was amazing. And then she did the puja there, and Misau made a beautiful.
Bahia, no?
That's in Bahia. That was in Bahia. And then she made Misau made the crown with only flowers, a crown, and I made another crown with Brazilian stones that we used the first puja in Brazil. That's very special. That's very nice. And that bubble, is so incredible.
So what puja is this in 1989 in Brazil?
Was Vishnu, I think it was Mahakali Puja, but we are not really sure, really, that puja, the first puja. But yeah, that was in 89. Special puja. And then we received Shri Mataji, and we went shopping with her. And then when we went shopping in Rio de Janeiro, we used to take her shopping. And then one day I had a small car, like a car, and then there was some yoginis that wanted to go by car. And then I was driving, Shri Mataji was sitting on the side, in the seat and the besides. And there was Duilo and these two girls, women. And then Misao was outside.
3 days.
And then Shri Mataji really liked Misao, you know, and then you can tell.
And then I said, I have to go somewhere, so don't worry about me that I take bus or either taxi, so don't worry about it. And then Srimati said, no, there's seat for you also. And here, and then Srimati was suggested me to sit in front of her.
On her lap.
Her lap.
And then but she was just 24 years old, you know, little girl, like very light. And then she went all the way from Leblon to the shopping place.
No, it's no. I don't know why we met from the shopping place.
No, we was in Leblon. And then we went all the way driving, and she was sitting on Shri Mataji's lap all the way to the shopping. And then back, the same thing. She went on her lap.
Sitting in Shrimat G's lap, Misau. What did it feel like? Wow. And where did you go? What did you shop?
No, I mean, where did we go?
We went in the center where they had this kind of
a lot of stands,
a lot of cheap shops and lots of things.
Handmade things.
She wanted to buy some stuff to give, you know, like gifts and stuff. There were some pictures there. I think I sent you a picture that were there.
Yes, there are some pictures, but they're on their side, and I'm not very tech savvy, and because they're on the side, I don't want to,
sorry.
I'm trying to get them straight as we did that photo with you, but it's not happening.
Okay. I can send you later.
Yes, please, if you don't mind.
Anyway, so that's the thing, you know, she was buying so many gifts.
She entered the one shops selling a lot of handmade things, handmade bags and shawl and things, and then some stones, semi-stones with nice necklace or things. Shrimati said, I'm going to travel, so I have to buy many things for my family and for the Sahaja Yogis, and she was buying.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Copacabana. That was in Copacabana.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, we had so many situations because after she came to Japan, also we invited her to Japan. And then she came to Japan.
So when did Shri Mataji go to Japan? And tell us about it briefly, because did you go with Shri Mataji to Japan, both of you?
No, I used to live in Japan.
When is this? 89.
In 89, Shri Mataji came to Brazil, okay? And afterwards, we moved to Japan. We are living in Japan. And I was asking Shri Mataji to come to Japan to give the first program in Japan there. There's even a puja, Shivarati puja, that she speaks about. There is this person in Japan and that is a puppeteer, you know, pantomime thing. And he's invited me to go to Japan. And then she came in 89 in Japan. And then we gave her the program, and that's amazing. Misao has there are so many stories, but one nice story is when she left, we took her to the airport. It was a small airport in Tokyo. And then always like that when Shri Mataji leaves with you. So now we're alone, you know. Because that's the bubble, you know, the bubble thing, you know. We are in the bubble, like incredible bubble. Like in Rio, you know, we used to sleep. Shri Mataji was in a room, and there was a corridor. Guido and me, we are sleeping on the corridor like that, you know. Just enjoying the vibe. I mean, it's impossible to say, but it's so great, you know.
No, we had a very little people, so we said, don't rent anywhere, or let's sleep in our apartment, because we have a Shri Mataji's, another 2 rooms, and it should be everybody could sleep. And then they could not stand it, the men could not stand it, and Bruno and they slept in the corridor and things.
And there was this situation that Misao was cooking for Shri Mataji. And then Shri Mataji was saying, and then she always, when she would serve the food, she would kneel down, and then give the food like that, really, like that. Let me saw.
Yeah, but that's Japanese culture. And
So what
And then
did
she
you
said
make
the
for
others.
Shrimat Ji? I mean, yes, you would have loved the way you served Shrimat Ji. What did you cook for Shrimat Ji, Misao?
I made here in Brazil is kind of difficult at the time that there's not so many shops for the Asian supermarket and thing. So I just make simple but Chinese dish and yeah, a mixture, and then always have a dessert, very light dessert, because the nighttime has to be, it's too heavy for her. So I made like a gelatin and yeah, not really remember, but makes a mixed rice and then make a big for every big quantity, because so that everybody can share and things, and made some Chinese food. Yes.
Shri Mataji was saying that everybody should learn with her how
No,
to
it's
be
okay.
the protocol, to treat her, because she never crossed the border. With Misao never crossed the border, It was incredible. Then in Japan, that situation was like
Japan.
that. Tell the story about the airport.
Airport. So we really had a night. So it's in Japan, and then Shrimata is going to leave, but then Shrimata's airplane was delayed because we wanted. Shrimata is know that we want to be together, and then the airplane was delayed, and we had more nice time. And then once that Shrimata is going inside the place that we separated, and then we really wanted to see Shri Mataji's, that, oh yes. Then we went to the place that we can able to see the airplane, and yes, that airplane, that the airplane that Shri Mataji is in. Yes, but where is it? Is it on the back or in the middle or in front? Probably in front. And then we are discussing. And then when the airplane was going up a little bit, and then, Shri Mataji is going like this, and then everybody, not only me, everybody could see that, like, big waving, only one hand moving like this. Was like, that's all like this, And then, wow, Shri Mataji is there. And then we played thank you to Shri Mataji. But it was a really big hand was, we could see from the airplane. That was amazing, amazed, but it was so nice.
Yeah, it's amazing, this thing. So many things. Like in Salvador, we went to a beach place. Duilo invited us to go to a dinner in the beach, by the beach in Salvador, and Shimataji was sitting on the table like that, and then suddenly she says, look at the sky. Can you see the kundalinis? Can you see the chaitanyas in the sky? And then we looked at the sky, everything was bright, bright
So
like this, and then they had this shiny things there, and I remember so clear this day. Were you
So
there?
many stars also.
It's the stars, and then the kundalini, like everything was shiny, That's one thing that happens when I close to Shimata, is that this shininess is not shiny from heat, it's shiny from something else, like joy, pure joy, or something like that. That's one thing that I think Sahaja Yogis, we should always remember that, and always have to have this shyness, no hate, no, just pure love, Ananda Bhakti, it's that's so important. Yeah.
That is really so sweet of you to again remind us how it's the power of pure love that Shri Mataji has given us. And so nice that you shared your experiences of being a student and how it flowed from there for both of you, and how the precious times you spent with Shrimat G. Thank you so much, Misao. Thank you so much, Bruno. It's been a pleasure. And most of all, thank you, Shrimat G, for making it possible. Jai Shrimat G.
Shri Mataji. Yeah, just to finish one thing.
Yes.
Shri Mataji gave us the portal, you know, and sometimes we look for the portal, we look for the something somewhere else, you know.
Yeah.
But the portal to the divine, it's within us, you know. It's in the Sahasrara. It's a portal, and Shri Mataji is there, and we don't have to look anywhere. We have to look. We have it. Shri Mataji gave us the portal. You know this portal from the movies that you say, oh, the person went into a portal.
Yes.
It's not outside.
No, it's
all
inside. In us. Yes.
It's in our side. So before we finish, let's just feel it that here is the portal.
Absolutely.
And that's where it's going to lead you to this joy, you know, this really incredible, joyful state. Yeah.
Beautiful, yes. Thank you so much. Jai Shri Mataji. All our love from the heart of the universe, Bruno, Misau. Jai Shri Mataji. Thank you, Shri Mataji, again and again.